I'm John Corlett. I'm the chair of the board of the YMCA of Northern Alberta, and I've been on actually a couple of other Y boards during my time, as my day job has taken me to different places. So I was on the board at the YMCA of Niagara and the YMCA in Winnipeg as well. And I've been on this board for 8 years. That goes back to 1958, my very first YMCA experience. I was 8 years old, so you can do the arithmetic with that. And it was at the old Niagara Falls, Ontario Y. And I took a basketball program there. I had just moved with my family from Trois-Rivières in Quebec, so new city, new language around me, new school, didn't know anyone, and the Y was there. There have been some true highlights for me. I think the response of our Y to the fires in Fort McMurray in 2016 was exemplary. I think that we could not have been more aligned to the needs of that community. We reopened as soon as we could. We were there to help rebuild that community. And I think that there are just so many ways that this Y has demonstrated its commitment to being not just the Y of Edmonton as it once was, but the Y of Northern Alberta and now Central Alberta with Red Deer as well. So I am always amazed and proud of the way in which, when things are at their worst, as they were in Fort McMurray in 2016, you know, Calgary as a Y, they had the floods in 2013. I mean, this is when the Y shines. And, you know, there's that saying, you know, no one in the Y ever steps back. We always step up. And I think that that's been true of every Y association I've been with, and it's certainly true of this particular Y in Northern Alberta. There is nothing in my experience with the Y that compares with the trip that we took to Bogota, to the ACJ, as they say in Spanish, the YMCA in Bogota. They have nothing. They work in the streets, in the communities, with people, with those most in need. And there is something utterly remarkable about seeing an organization that can take so little and turn it into so much. It's always been about looking for who is the most vulnerable, providing a sense of community, making sure that people aren't socially isolated and feeling left out. So there's that inclusive kind of message that I think goes with being in a Y, for a Y, with a Y. And the Y simply has to continue to evolve, to recognize that you can never jump in the same river twice, as the saying goes. The river's moved on by the time you're out and ready to jump in again, and we can't be trying to jump into the same rivers. There's no doubt Edmonton, Red Deer, Grand Prairie, Fort Mac, Wood Buffalo, they are all going to be different places in 5 years' time. And that means that our Y has to continue to adapt, keeping that central core of purpose in place. I have tremendous faith in the ability of the Y to continue to be relevant. I have tremendous faith in the leadership of the YMCA in Canada and beyond. And it's just really, now that I'm stepping away as the chair of our board, I just can't wait to see what the next leadership team does next, because we're going to continue to be great, because we have to. It's not an option for the Y to not be great serving its communities. And one of the things that's always impressed me about the Y is that the people who work as employees paid by the Y have the zeal of volunteers who are there because of their passion. And the volunteers who commit to the Y behave as if they're paid to do it. What's not to like about that sense of purpose? And I think that as change happens, that's what doesn't change, is always that sense of who can we help and how are we going to do that, then becomes part of the changing landscape, but never that Y in the middle of the organizational mission and vision. And I will continue to figure out how to be a volunteer with our Y. If I have to fold towels at one of the association branches, that's fine. I mean, there's nothing especially important about being chair of the board. Every volunteer at the Y matters in his or her own way. And so, always a role to play and always happy to do it. And so I'll just ask, is there anything I can do? And when someone says, yeah, how about this? I'm there. Thanks to the Y, it's given me more than I've given, and I think so many volunteers feel exactly the same about that. And it's an experience I cannot imagine having missed in my life, and I'm looking forward to more.